Okay, good morning, everyone. It is August 30th, 2025. It is 10:36 a.m. Eastern, and I am calling the Libertarian Party of Indiana State Central Committee meeting to order. Madam Secretary, if you could call the roll.
Chair McMahon,
Present.
Vice Chair Seniak,
Present.
Treasurer Dixon, or Mr. Dixon,
Here.
Secretary Dausbach present, District 1, Mr. Schick.
He's not here.
Nothing absent, okay. District 2, Mr. Cotton.
Here.
District 3, Ms. Avery.
Here.
District 4, Mr. Lundy.
Present.
District 5, Ms. Schillings.
Present.
District 6, Mr. Lomax is absent. District 7, Ms. Glass.
Here.
District 8, Mr. Haynes
Not here.
is absent. And District 9, Ms. Curran is absent. Communications, Mr. Smith, absent. Yes.
Correct. Yes.
Tech, Mr. Schulteis.
Present.
Outreach, Ms. Coquillard.
Here.
At this time, do we have any guest or LNC reps present?
No, and Mr. Lomax just joined.
Okay. Mr. Lomax is available. Okay. I believe that completes our roll call.
I count 12. So, yeah. 12 members. Okay. Adoption of the agenda. Would like to make an amendment to the agenda to add under secretary approval of the 2025 convention minutes, or preliminary approval of the 2025 convention minutes. Is there any objection to that amendment? Okay, hearing none. Any other additions? Any objection to the agenda as amended? Hearing none, the agenda is adopted. Mr. Cotton, can you be timekeeper?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Moving on to officer reports. Not as much from me this month. Still trying to get my bearings in the new role as LNC secretary. The number of emails and fighting back and forth that require me to at least respond is kind of overwhelming, to say the least. But I think I've got it pretty well licked now and know the process and have things pretty well worked out. So it shouldn't take as much time from me moving forward. Couple of key things. Talk to the election division, update Mr. Lundy on Montgomery County. There is no mechanism in the law to appoint if there is not a county caucus, but there's also no mechanism in the law for them to fill the seat on the board without one. So the kind of consensus is if it comes up, the state party should appoint or probably could appoint. And if it gets challenged, it gets challenged. And then it would be for the county judge to determine who has the authority to appoint. I'll go more into my other conversations with the division and the IEC hearings. Let's see. I made a few weeks ago a $5,000 contribution to the state party. It was supposed to be a match because I did a match for the national party, but I forgot to put out the email. So it just became a $5,000 donation instead of a $5,000 matching donation. I did secure on my own the big convention suite for national in 2026. So the state party doesn't have to worry about that because obviously I'm going to share it with the state party because, that's the way it goes. So that's the savings for the state party. Um, did considerable amount of work with Andy Burns on some Civi CRM issues and updates, which we'll go into in Civi development. Also, just a heads up, the merch store is now linked on the website. So that is our actual merch store. It no longer goes to the Proud Libertarian page. It goes to our actual merch store. So that's fun times. And we have not sent out the membership cards yet. I'd like to get, James and maybe Stephanie has been, the secretary has been coming into the office a couple of times a week. Maybe the three of us can get together in the next week or two and bang out getting those out and then put a process in place so that it gets done regularly. Um, Still working with National on updating our national members. We think we've found the majority of the issue. So I do anticipate that being resolved within the next week or two. They have been very active on it. So that is a good thing. I also um, would like to ask the treasurer, Mr. Dixon, if you're available this coming week for you and I to sit down to do phone calls for people who have their credit cards expired and need to get re-upped.
Yeah.
And in that, I currently give $45 a month to the state party. Because I have to give monthly to the national party, I want to increase my state party membership to $75 a month. Do you know how to do that, Mr. Dixon?
I think I do in Civi, but I'd have to do like kind of a dry run on it.
Okay, well, let's get together if you want to do it after the meeting, maybe. If you want to stick around on Zoom, we can.
I don't know if
Oh,
I
you
can
can't
today.
because
I'm
you
in the
won't be able to.
car.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. I'll
right.
be. But Monday afternoon looks good.
Okay, we could do that.
All right, 2 o'clock.
And you don't have to come in if you don't want to, or you can come in if you want.
All right, we'll do one or the other, but I'll put it on my calendar
Yeah,
right now for like at 2 o'clock.
that works. Perfect. And that's it. That's all the chair has. Any questions?
Monday is a holiday, FYI.
I think that's why he can come in on Monday, is
Yeah.
because it's,
But
bankers
thank
out.
you. You're right, Christy. Thank you. You're right. Thank you.
And I don't do anything on holidays, so I was going to be here at the office anyway working, so it works out. Mr. Vice Chair, floor is yours.
Yeah, so we had the convention meeting, and we're going to do that bi-weekly. Christy, I, Evan, and Elizabeth all met. We had a good meeting. We approved pricing, including early bird pricing. We also talked about vendor tables, the pricing on those and how much room we'll have. We had a good discussion. We're looking at a discounted price for county convention or for counties who want a table at the convention. So overall, a very productive meeting and good. And we're going to be meeting this next Thursday. If anyone wants to join as a guest, they're more than welcome. But we'll be discussing more about the pricing and more about how we're going to present the theme and as a fundraiser. So we're looking at ways to raise money as well as get organized for the convention. Any questions?
Mr. Vice Chair, I have a question. Secretary Dossbach.
Yes,
Do you have any details on the actual numbers at this point that you can share with the board?
I do. If you give me 1 second to pull it up.
There's actually on the agenda, there's a 10-minute for the LPIN convention discussion.
Okay,
Okay.
fair. I can wait.
Any other questions for the Vice Chair? Hearing none. Treasurer Dixon.
I sent out my report this month, just yesterday or the day before, and you should just simply see that instead of doing a year to date, I just did August in isolation just to see if the cash flow is improving. The bleeding did kind of slow down and stop here in August. Largely the donation, thank you, from Evan. So that put us pretty positive for the month of August. Curious to see how the next several months go. The end of the year, I haven't seen what that looks like yet. So keeping my eyes on it, but we got about I don't have the report in front of me, maybe about $13,000 or $14,000 in the bank right now. That's it. That's all I got.
One thing to note on from that, the CRM, the technology was mostly unpaid previous monthly bills with there's a $500 migration fee when we moved to the new server, which saves us a ton of money. And then there was a $500 dev fee that we had previously agreed to, but that big chunk was because we had missed our $250 monthly payments, and so we had a bunch of them that were due all at one time. And so that was all paid in one check. All
Got
those pending invoices were all one check. Um, there was another thing just to put on your radar, Mr. Treasurer. Well,
Yes.
two things actually. One is Tuesday, I need to cut the deposit check for the convention, which I'll give that number during the convention thing, but that's on the radar. We need to
Okay.
pay a deposit and it's due Tuesday. Um, the other thing is I got a phone call and then an email Thursday from Cannon River. That's the company that does the maintenance and supplies the toner for our printer. Uh, we haven't paid them since October, our monthly fee. And so they
Okay.
sent like almost a
What's that bill?
$500 invoice. It's not much because our monthly fee isn't that much, but it's like $500.
All right.
But I'll be forwarding that to you, but I wanted to put it on your radar. They didn't seem like the more important issue is that we get a process in place that we start paying it every
It's
month.
automated payments, right?
Yeah, that's their biggest concern. And so I don't think that they're not cutting us off if we don't pay it tomorrow. Like, which we don't need maintenance tomorrow anyway. So I do believe Mr. Schulteis has his hand up. Go ahead, Mr. Schulteis.
There was some concern about the monthly fees from the current bank accounts. That it should be resolved now. The bank has worked with us to change our account type, so now there's no monthly fee for the banks.
Great.
I know the plan is to switch to a different bank entirely, but for the foreseeable future, while we're with the current bank, we should no longer be getting monthly fees.
Great.
Speaking of, sorry to add one more thing. My card expired in July. So all of the things that were on my card for monthly renewals, I've been paying personally. So I'll need to submit those as gifts in kind so that everything balances out. Like buffer, I think, because I never got a replacement card. The replacement card never came. But like Shopify, buffer, our hosting, all of the things that are monthly fees, the majority of them are on that card.
Is
Um,
there not a way to put it on the account where it's automatically debiting the party account?
no, because it's all credit card, not check. Um, so if we had the other card for the main account, yes, but that main card expires tomorrow as well. So, but I
Can
would
we
like
can we
us to.
order can we order a new card and just get those bills transferred to the new card on the new account? I
We
mean on the
can.
existing account.
The other thing would be like, how far away are we from being able to switch to the different banks so that we can also do the ACH transactions easier for the county parties and stuff?
We should be
Not
able to
yeah.
finish that in the next week or two.
Okay. I don't mind keeping it and doing it as a gift in kind. That's fine with me for now. While we transition to the new bank account, I would just like to get that preferably done before the end of September would be preferred.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I think we should be able to do it because the filing stuff is done and we're pretty much caught up. I think with on on all the reconciliations. So,
Time
Okay.
has expired.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Cotton. Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Madam Secretary.
Thank you. As Evan said, I have been coming into the office at least one day a week for the past couple of weeks to try to catch up and get things completed. This month, I was able to complete the July 2025 minutes, which have been added to Google Drive and were sent out for SCC for review and approval. So I guess at this time, I'd like to motion that the July 2025 minutes be accepted as are or amended as needed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Coquillard. Is there any? Okay, hold on, Mr.
I
Lynn.
saw an email from Lori Shillings that her name does not have a C in it.
That was on the 2025 convention minutes.
Okay, different.
The
Gotcha.
July. Thank you.
Okay.
Is it the same in Ms. Schillings?
Did I do the same thing in the July minutes?
I have to get that open. Please excuse me while I review.
In the event that there's an error like that, it doesn't require anything to change. The secretary can change to correct a name, or if there's a grammatical error, it can be changed. It just can't be a substantive change to the
Sure.
name. So it was moved in seconded. Is there any objection to adopting the minutes as presented for July 2025 SCC meeting? Going once, going twice. Okay, those are adopted without objection. Go ahead, Madam Secretary.
Okay, great. In addition to completing the July 2025 minutes, I also amended the March 2025 convention minutes and have added those to the Google Drive and sent to the SEC for review. I realize that we only can do, I guess, an initial approval of them at this point. I'm not sure how to move for that approval, Mr. Chair.
I think I heard you say that you seek a motion to preliminarily approve the 2025 convention minutes by the SEC to be ratified by the convention, the 2026 convention delegates.
That would be correct.
Is there a second?
Second.
So it's been moved and seconded. Just a point of commentary is Ms. Schillings did point out that there's no C in her name anywhere in her name.
I will
So
be sure
if we could
to.
double
I will
check
be
that.
sure to correct that. Yes.
Any objection to the convention minutes being adopted with the correct names being amended?
Looks like everyone has approved those, so we'll move forward with that. Next, I did reach out to Alyssa Salgado again to retrieve any outstanding files and items. I do have a plan in place to meet with her this week to retrieve the files that she has on her. I've also reached out again to Mr. Nolan about outstanding files and items. Have not yet heard from Mr. Nolan to do that, but we'll continue to try to make a plan for that. Let's see here. I had placed in my report a few months ago about how to update the format on Civi for minutes, agendas, etc. I know that there's a part where we want to have things all uniform, but my question is would the board be okay with doing a current updated format with all the minutes and agendas right now moving forward, or do we want to retroactively change everything? Because I'm just looking at timing on getting everything updated throughout the for everything in the past. So like I said, it's a question that I'm throwing out there to the board is like, what our district reps and our entire board like to see everything uniform or everything moving forward from convention.
Time has expired.
I
I would
move
just
to
say,
extend the secretary's report to 3 minutes.
is there a second?
Second. Second.
It's moved and seconded. Any objection? Hearing none, go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll repeat my question. You know, the initial idea had for me to go into Civi and change the format in which our minutes and agendas were presented and viewable. That's a lot. It's a lot of work. And to be honest, I have not been able to get to Civi just yet. I'm working on that. But my question is, would the board be okay with me changing the format in which we're using, but only starting that from March of 2025 since convention moving forward? Or would you like to see it all change retroactively?
I think it's perfectly reasonable for us to have a new page that has all of the current stuff, and then we link to an archive page that has everything before the convention. And as time moves along, maybe we can get a volunteer, because that's just WordPress access, that's not Civi access. We can get a volunteer that you can show how to convert, and then they can sit down and convert it at their leisure and add it to the main page. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that was kind of my thought too. Is like if we had somebody else, you could just kind of go in and change it because that's it should be much easier than, but it still takes time.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that as long as everyone else is agreeable.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm fine with doing it going forward. I don't think there's any reason to put all of that on you right now that you.
Very good. Okay. I don't see a reason for a true vote for that, or do you, Evan?
Doesn't require it. No.
Okay. And otherwise, that's all I have. Thank you for the extended time.
Moving on to LNC updates. The rep and alt are not here. Does anybody have any questions about the LNC?
Are they ever going to do anything with New Hampshire?
Well, so I can't comment on that. But I hope so. That'd be great. Ms. Schillings.
Yes, Mr. Chair, can you tell us more about the sale of the building and how those funds will be allocated and what's the process with that?
Okay. So my knowledge base is a little bit limited because I only know what everybody else knows because it happened before I was on the board. This has been like a 2-year long thing. The information that I've seen says that there were structural issues with the roof, but the organization who was next door still wanted to buy it as is. If we repaired the roof, it was going to be like another $50,000 to $75,000 to repair the roof. And it was going to take 6 months, 6 to 8 months in the process, in which we may lose the buyer. So they decided to sell it as is for, I think it was 650,000-ish gross. The party netted like 635,000. Those funds are currently being held in a money market account that's drawing like 3.8% interest or something like that. It's drawing an interest. And there is debate between some of us as to whether or not some of the funds are restricted, all of the funds are restricted, none of the funds are restricted. So it's kind of in a holding pattern for right now until there's more clarity on what is restricted and what isn't. I will tell you that I am in the camp that at least some of the funds are restricted because they were made specifically to a building fund and they were reported as such. Therefore, they can't be put back to the general fund. I think a decent portion of the money that was raised for the building was just done through the general donation form. Therefore, that money could go back to the general fund. There's also, just to tell you, there's also like another 400,000 that was not spent by the Victory Fund, and it is debatable who owns that money, but it's currently in the LNC's possession. And so there's I think it was closer to 1.2 million after like interest and fees and stuff like that. It was closer to 1.2 million for the building purchase all in. I think 899 was the like list price. So the party has a little over $1 million. I think it's like 1.2 million. But it's all like restricted money that can't really be tapped into today. But all of it is in a money market, so it's generating interest, which is nice. So I think the party's getting like $3,800 a month in interest, but is also experiencing, I think it's a $15,000 deficit, monthly deficit. And that's with everything drastically pared back. So not great. Any other questions about the LNC? Okay, moving on to district reports. Mr. Schick is not here. District 2, Mr. Cotton.
District 2, St. Joe County didn't have enough for a quorum here at the last business meeting. We are focusing our efforts on getting a replacement treasurer going for the county. That's going to be the primary focus here. We're looking at rescheduling the monthly meetings here to see if we can't get some more attendance here from members. It is summer, so it's kind of slowing down, but we're seeing what we can do to progress with that. We have been getting some earned media attention here with Melissa Kaufman Miller's lawsuits regarding some Bago Township matters here up in Elkhart County. First lawsuit, went away as a second lawsuit has started. So she's been continuing her efforts with that. We've been getting some earned media attention here with St. Joe County regarding South Bend and the body cam fee issue. They kind of followed the course of what Indianapolis did there and went to max amount. They wanted to do $150 maximum fee, and we spoke out against that and followed right on that. There was a body cam issue with a teenage girl getting slammed to the ground outside of a McDonald's like 3 days later. So that kind of blew up, and has we're still progressing along with it. We ended up getting it knocked down to a $75 maximum fee instead of 150. But most of the people that were in attendance and speaking out were libertarian or libertarian affiliate type people. So that was pretty successful.
Mr. Cotton, if you look in Civi and you look up previous treasurers in St. Joe County, when St. Joe County was first being affiliated back in 2021, there was a treasurer who was frustrated because the paperwork wasn't being filed. And somebody you might want to reach out to. I can't remember the person's name, but they manufactured board games.
Okay, I will go through there and see if I can't find that name.
You would look for when you search in Civi, you would look St. Joseph County is treasurer, but you would also want to look for, there's like a column to look for active. You would want to look for all. So it
Right.
should show
Nope.
everybody who's ever been a treasurer in St. Joe County.
Okay, I'll take a look at that.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Cotton? Hearing none. District 3, Miss Avery.
Thank you. I might have to pop off because I'm trying to supervise my little doggo outside. I know Allen County has been pretty active. Our county is looking into going to vote centers as opposed to precincts. And Adam is on the steering committee for that, our county chair. And they recently had a public meeting that I also attended. And sounds like people are kind of angry about not enough voting centers being proposed in certain locations. But hopefully they'll work that out because I think vote centers would probably be a better way to go than the district's dog is barking like crazy. We continue to meet once a month. We have our business meeting here in Allen County, and then we also have a casual meetup. Not so well attended, but we keep plugging along. I think Whitley County also is meeting regularly, but I really don't hear from anybody other than Ryan. So I'm not really sure what's going on in Wells and Randolph County, but that's about all I've got for you. Any questions?
Was the Pride after our last meeting?
It was at the end of July, so I thought we had a meeting since then, but maybe not.
But you had good turnout, good coverage of the
It was
Pride.
pretty good until it started pouring down rain, and I'm very thankful for all the volunteers that came out to help us because there was really only like 2 or 3 of us from Allen County and then various people from other parts of the state, plus Chase. And we did get together and have a meal with Chase afterwards, and Damien and Lori joined us since we'd been rained out by that point. So that was very productive, and we got some nice conversations out of that. And yeah, it was definitely an overall positive.
Excellent. Thank you, Miss Avery. District 4, Mr. Lundy.
Not much to report in District 4. We're down a couple of members, but monthly donations remain steady. Someone did reach out expressing potential interest to run for Congress in District 4, but I've not had a lot of success meeting with them, and we'll see how that goes. I'm not super optimistic about that, but that's about it for me. I don't have a whole lot to report.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Lundy? Okay, hearing none. District 5, Ms. Schillings.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. District 5, pretty quiet this time of year because it's not a election year. Hamilton County continues to meet every third Wednesday of the month. We did have an event in Cicero at their local street festival, and that went really well. A lot of traffic is for the area, but they had moved it from a street downtown to a local park, and other events were in other places in the city. So it was not as well attended, but we had great conversations, and that's all I have at this time.
Excellent. Any questions for Ms. Schillings? I had one about something that was happening in Hamilton County, and I forgot to write it down, so I can't remember.
As Ms. Avery mentioned, there is a conversation ongoing about precinct removal of voting centers going to a more communal voting center. And there's a survey that's going around, but other than doing a virtual response, there's not much I can do about that personally.
Since this is an issue, I'm just going to state my opinion real quick since it's popped up in 2 different counties.
Right.
Vote centers are great for voter engagement. It makes it easier for people to come. The downside to vote centers is it is more difficult for you as a concerned citizen to know who's voting from your neighborhood. The idea of the vote center or a voting precinct is you know the people in your community, so you know, hey, that person doesn't live here. That person lives, on the other side of the county or in another county or what have you. It is much harder to do that in a voting center thing, and that's the biggest complaint about vote centers existing. But we also have pretty hardcore voter ID laws, so you at least know who is voting. Did they update their voter record or not? That's a different story. But that's kind of where I fall on it from just a political, practical position. I think those are the arguments. Any other questions for Ms. Schillings? Okay, hearing none. District 6, Mr. Lomax.
So Hancock County had a bit of a victory. I wouldn't say that it was a direct result of our work, but Larry really hit it hard on the Facebook campaigning and going to all the groups. We got a further 10-year tax abatement that is a total of $1.9 billion per year on Walmart's equipment at the warehouse down the street from my house that was declined by the Hancock County Council and the RDC. And that was, I believe, to be from direct influence from us and from the groups that we've engaged and everybody complaining about it. So big ups to Larry on that one. I know that he had his hand in the pot. Larry also sent out mailers on top of the mailers that I sent out a couple of months ago, seeking donations to the county party to help with booth rental and things like that. We do have the upcoming booth at Riley Days, which is the first weekend of October. It is the 2nd through the 4th. And we are currently seeking people from other counties that want to come and walk in the parade. We do have Hancock County Libertarian Party shirts that all of our members will be wearing while they're walking in the parade. But because we have to keep the booth staffed, if there is anybody that wants to volunteer to come down for the parade, we're going to have a truck and a trailer for our float. And we're going to see if we can't get some candy to throw out at kids so that you can feed the gremlins after midnight. So other than that, Hancock County is stable. We're still meeting. Henry County's still trying to get off the board. I don't know if Brad has reached out to you, Evan, after talking to Abby. I don't know if he'd actually gotten a hold of Abby yet, but I know he was working on that and I gave him her email address. So but yeah, other than that, nothing else in District 6. Anybody have any questions for me?
I have not heard from Brad on an update if he needs my assistance or something dealing with the election division. Please ask him to reach out
Yeah,
again.
he was just asking for her email because he needed to get a login for the financial website.
Oh, okay.
Time.
Miss Dosbach and then Miss Cocolard, I think, had her hand up as well.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Miss Dosbach.
Luke, by any chance, do you have a sign up Genius or anything available for Riley Days?
We do not know, but if there is interest outside of the county, that is something that I'm willing to set up. I just haven't set it up yet because I hadn't launched that idea out to everybody yet.
The only reason I ask is just trying to make sure that you can rotate your volunteers in and out of the booth and find out where the time might be most valuable. So if you could do something like that, that would be great. Just to share. So
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. I'm with you. Awesome.
Miss Cocolard.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Lori, for posting that.
I had a screaming baby, so I missed the date of the parade that you were asking for volunteers for.
Saturday the 4th.
September 4th?
October 4th.
Oh, October 4th. Okay.
Yeah.
And that was Hamilton County?
Hancock. It's Greenfield, Indiana. Yep.
Yeah, if you just want to put any details you have in the chat, I'll be able to see if I can go to that or possibly round up some volunteers to come down with me.
Awesome. Good
Ms.
deal.
Schillings?
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
What time is your parade?
The parade starts at 10 a.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, District 7, Miss Glass.
We've had a little bit more activity in Marion County, which is great. Yeah, we've had several new members, 3 of which have shown up to meetings. And it's a good diverse group of people. We've got one from each party, former party, and one who's never voted before in his life and is looking to get more active in the community. So overall, I'm more optimistic than I was a couple months ago. So we also are having a convention next month. And it's like the 4th Wednesday of the month. I can't remember the actual date, which I should probably look up. But and it is to amend the quorum rules for currently we need 8 people to meet quorum, and we've been getting 6 at the most. So we are going to try and amend that. And that's all I have. Any questions?
Did you talk to the guy that I forwarded you the email from?
Yes, I
Okay.
emailed him, and then he came to the meeting, and he emailed me after the meeting and said that we were all great people, and he was so happy to meet me and the others. He also asked for a link to our principles, like our platform, and I sent him that. And he is also wanting a book list of things that he might be interested in reading. He's retired and has a lot of reading time. No, Evan, it has to be libertarian. But thank you. And then, so I'm compiling a list of things that I might think, but I'm open to suggestions as to what would be the good ones. Seeing as we have time. Okay.
Mr. Lomax did have his hand up. Real quick, Mr. Lomax.
Yeah, so me and Larry have been discussing possibly doing the Irvington Halloween celebration. I think they have like a street fair in
They won't let
Irvington.
you.
They won't let me at all.
They don't allow political parties anymore. That's why Marion County stopped doing it.
Okay. All right. I was going to ask people to do that, but okay.
If,
Cool.
if you'd like to come and walk with us in a libertarian shirt, that's fine, but we can't have a booth.
Okay. But you guys are in the parade?
We're not in the parade.
They're just going to walk around.
We're just going to walk around.
Oh, okay.
In
All right.
libertarian
Very
gear.
good. I will reach out to you offline then and we'll talk about that.
All right. Thank you, Luke.
Thank you.
District 8, Mr. Haynes is not here. District 9, Ms. Kern's also not here. I did receive somebody who called and emailed about running for the 9th Congressional District. Not currently a member, not in our database at all. I forwarded them or replied what the requirements were and that they should meet with the District 9 rep to get in contact with the counties in District 9. I don't know that she has had contact with him yet. I didn't see that in her report. But director reports, communications. Mr. Smith's not here, but I will say that the comms team is meeting. I think it's the third Monday of every month. I think that's what it is. But we met this month. Came up with the tax thief social media campaign that puts all of the people who voted yes for the big budget bill that did not create substantial property tax reform and also created a new local income tax, going after them. It was picked up by a couple of Democrat county parties, shared it, as well as the Canadian Party took the format that was created by Liz Coquillard and adapted it to their own, but it looked exactly the same. They just used it to go after their I think their prime minister, their current prime minister. So that was fascinating. I know we've had lots of front page. Every op-ed we do has been getting tons of media play, including a couple that were on the front page of the Indy Star. One controversial post that happened recently was on flag burning when the president signed an executive order threatening 1 year in prison for anyone who participated in an act of flag burning. We put out a post saying we don't necessarily like flag burning, but it is protected speech and the president has no authority to deem protected speech unlawful. One, the president can't make a law. Two, it is protected, upheld by the courts. Had lots of people reach out about that post, and my responses have been pretty forward, which is you don't have to be in favor of flag burning, but as a libertarian, you need to be in favor of defending free speech and defending people's rights to do those and being against a president acting as a king and passing random laws and threatening people with jail time. It's pretty much that simple. I've never been part of a flag burning. I don't agree with it. I also don't say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I don't I don't agree with the nationalism or patriotism assigned to a piece of cloth. But I respect the way other people hold the flag and value and view the flag. So it's not a form of protest that I would ever engage in. But even Mr. Horning said, well, I wouldn't participate. A president telling me I can't and threatening jail makes me want to do it. So that was, but we've gotten tons of engagement on a lot of our posts. I'd say mostly positive. Definitely, we bring out the trolls who don't like when we criticize Trump. And, hey, guess what? We did the same thing to Biden. We did the same thing to Trump in his first term. We did the same thing to Obama. Like, we are critical of all presidents. When they do bad things, we talk about the bad things. Sorry, not sorry. Um, we're working on more op-eds. If there is a thing that you would like to see us talk about as an op-ed, that's not a response to something that just happened, but something that is a policy position that you would like to see us talk about and do in a way that gets us that kind of coverage, please feel free to email me or our comms director, Andrew Smith, about that. Any questions about comms? Ms. Glass, you had your hand up for like a really long time.
I was just gonna, I was reached out to by one of our city councilmen and complimented you on your op-ed about the immigration issue. And I was wondering if you could send me that.
Yes.
And then also, is there a good place for us to look at the tax thief thing that you did?
Facebook page. It's all on the
Oh,
Facebook page.
okay.
It's on
All right.
Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. It's on all
Okay.
the socials. So
Because I was going to pass it along to our older new gentleman who may not have any of those things.
And we did them and we're doing them in such a way that I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, Elizabeth, we're doing it twice, 2 people a day, 2 or 3 times a week.
wrong. It's 2 every Thursday.
Okay.
Time.
Moving on to tech. I know you said you weren't going to be here, but you are. So, Mr. Schulteis, our tech director.
As mentioned during Mr. Dixon's report, I've been meeting with him to assist with the filing of necessary reports with the various government agencies. We're also planning on finalizing the handover in the month of September, so we should be able to move forward with Mr. Dixon being the sole treasurer for the organization, despite how email is saying that it's still me. Hopefully some point in the future we can get that fixed as well. Another thing I worked on is our phone provider decided they were going out of business and gave 6 days notice. Apparently that's against FCC rules, so they stuck around a little bit longer, but I was able to get our phone number transferred to a more stable company. But I see that there's another phone system topic on the agenda. I know we've been planning on switching our provider for quite some time, but we have a little wiggle room now because hopefully this company will not go out of business in 6 days notice. But it gives us similar functionality to the previous phone provider, so there shouldn't be too much issues by anyone who's calling the office.
Couple things, Mr. Schulteis. One is transitioning our domains and anything that exists within the DreamHost account to the actual state party DreamHost account. Getting with Andy Burns, because I feel like when that happens, there's some like IP changes that end up happening. And so like we may have like a down period of the website and services while that's happening, but can we prioritize having that done before the end of the month? Or
Yes.
before the end of September?
Yes.
I've told Andy about it, so he is available at your disposal to talk to him about any issues regarding Civi for that transition.
Yeah, I doubt that will affect Civi since that's not hosted on DreamHost, but I'll coordinate with them just in case.
I don't think so either because I don't think the IPs are on the Liquid Web server, not the DreamHost account. It's just the DNS. So I feel like it should just be porting over the DNS over or all the DNS entries over to the new DreamHost account. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll work with him to make sure that there's no
The second thing is
adverse
the
effect.
thing with Mr. Dixon's email is becoming an issue because we now have vendors who think his name is Michael Schulteis.
From what I've seen, that maybe someone has in their contacts Michael Schulteis as treasurer. I sent out an email about how to possibly fix that. I'll resend that out to the board.
Can you
But
check with like Ronnie because the email he sends says Michael Schulteis, and I know for a fact in my contacts it displays Ronnie Dixon treasurer in my contacts. It displays Ronnie Dixon treasurer in the organizational contacts, but whenever he sends an email, it says Michael Schulteis.
right, anyone in our 17 users needs to check their contacts to make sure that they didn't save it as Michael Schulteis, because I think Google is overriding it based on that.
What I'd like to do is for us to figure out what's going on. And if we need to delete his account, save the record, delete his account, and then recreate one with the same email address, something. But we need to get it fixed because it's
Okay.
official. They put your name on the contract for the convention instead of his as treasurer. And so, like, because they pulled it ridiculously, even though they asked me for the information and I sent it to them, for some reason, when I CC'd him on it, they took the address bar information that somehow adjusted it to Michael Schulteis. So I'd like for us to get that resolved. It's crazy because I don't think we've had this problem really before like this. And no one else has it. Stephanie, James, theirs are all correct. So I'd like for us to get that resolved. Mr. Cotton.
I did just check mine and I did have that saved as Michael on there. So I just updated my contact for that to be Ronnie. So
It was probably
hopefully I'm not the one that was holding that up.
I think it's something else. I legitimately think there's some ghost in the machine because when I'm trying to send an email to Ronnie, it says Ronnie Dixon. But for some reason, when it goes out somewhere else, it says Michael Schulteis. When he emails, it says Michael Schulteis. So it's very weird. Any other questions for Mr. Schulteis and Tech Director? Okay, hearing none. Actually, one other thing, Mr. Schulteis, do you want to be sitting in on calls with Andy on Civi?
Sure.
Okay. Moving on to outreach and community, Ms. Kokolar.
Not too much to report this month. I continue to plug away in my spare time on the educational program. I have reached out to a few people to set up a monthly work group to get this accomplished. Just waiting to hear back on availability of the volunteers who have said they were interested in helping. Also, just a reminder, if you are having an event in your area and looking for volunteers or engagement, would like to have the state party, promote your event, just message me, email me, whatever, and I can help with that. And that's it.
Any questions for outreach? Okay, hearing none. Moving on to committee reports, starting with the convention committee, Mr. Vice Chair.
Yeah, so first, I'd like to address the secretary's question about numbers, pulling that up right now. So the early bird price, the super early bird price for convention was 150. Early bird price is 175. Uh, the ticket pricing is 200, which should be the same as last year. Pricing for ads, $75 for business cards, 200 for a quarter, 250 for half, 500 for a full page. And then the uh, for theme. So I think this year,
Tables.
instead of go on, Evan.
Do you want to finish those pricings and do the tables and then go on to
Oh,
the theme?
yes, the tables. The tables. Wow. Hold on 1 second. Oh, so 100 for double table. 50. Are these numbers right, Evan? 100 for double and 100 for single?
It was 100 for single, and then I think it was Christy, you might remember, I think it was 100 for single and then 50 for an additional table, side by side. Is that correct? Or was
I
it?
don't think I wrote it down.
I think I just accidentally reversed it, but the
Yeah,
note I had said 100 for a single and 150 for a double.
yeah, that's so yeah, 100 and then 150. And then we were talking about, I think we said like somewhere between 50 to 75 for county parties if we determine we have enough space, which we haven't determined yet. But that's a likely thing, is offering a discount to county parties that want to have a table.
And we'd really like to advertise since it's a national year. We'd like to get some advertisement from there. So we're gonna try to focus on that, and we're gonna address that in further meetings. Additionally, our theme we want to do as a fundraiser, so we're going to send out an email hopefully shortly about the potential for $10 to submit a convention idea, and then $1 or sorry, $2 for every vote. So we're going to send that out soon, and hopefully that generates some fundraising ability. At our next meeting, we're going to discuss some of those details further.
The theme contest is dependent on us being able to do it easily within Civi without requiring any additional development by Andy. There, like, he may have to tell me how to do it or tell us how to do it, then that's fine. But adding billable hours for him to build something out to do it, we don't want to do. Um, on the convention side, the contract side, for the record, the deposit is $1,334.82, Mr. Treasurer. That's what I'll be sending out. Is there something else on the convention side for Indiana? Did you get that, Mr. Dixon? Roughly. I'm going to assume not. We don't have the contract yet for the food. But it was actually pretty inexpensive. The total contract for the convention area was the total amount on it is $2,669.65 for the entire venue for the 3 days. We did get a courtesy block. Oh, right, 2 days. I'm sorry, it doesn't include Friday. We did get a courtesy block hold at one of the nicer hotels, but it's pretty pricey. as a courtesy block, we're not required to sell them out. It's just a nice thing that will promote that there are hotels there for a slightly or rooms available at that hotel for a slightly discounted price. We're not committed to anything on it. But other than that, as we've done recently in the past, due to the way hotels have changed things, we're not doing a room block. We don't have a contract hotel that we're pushing people to book a hotel room in. But it's very likely most people are going to want a hotel room if they plan on being there for all 3 days. Miss Avery.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the venue and do a walkthrough on Wednesday this week, next week, whatever it is. I know they had us kind of separated out for like the dinner and the karaoke and then the training and the business meeting. So I'm not sure if we can just combine those into one room. Maybe that would give us some savings. I don't know. And I haven't heard back from the guy about the hotel block, so maybe I'll email him again just to make sure he's working on that.
It's also not I'm not worried about the hotel block because
Right.
if we don't get it, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It'd be nice to be able to offer the discount to people that want to book there, but we're not securing any hotel rooms. Any other questions about the 2026 state convention for the vice chair or committee? Ms. Schillings.
Do you have an expectation of when those ticket sales will go live on our website?
I would say within the next couple of weeks.
Thank you.
I mean, definitely before the end of the month. We don't have to have, as we've done before, we don't have to have speaker information. All we need is the location, dates, and times and the
Right.
ticket pricing. We have the ticket pricing now. I just didn't have the time to be able to sit down and create the space or create the event within Civi for it. But I think I can probably do that this week. I'm going to give myself a couple of extra days, but I should probably be able to have that done this coming week.
Thank you. I just wanted to have an expectation to share with my district. Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions about the convention or the committee? Okay, hearing none. Just thank you guys for doing the work. I will say that I'm in the committee and I do give my points and feelings and stuff like that, but I'm not voting on any of the things that are happening that they're deciding. I just don't vote on them. I'm just there to help guide and answer questions and give feedback. But they're doing a really good job and coming up with good ideas. I like the theme contest as long as it's something that we actually can do. If we can't do it, it's something that I'm probably going to ask Andy to price out for future years, so that it's something that maybe we can do in the future, but not committing to that type of development right now. So yeah. Okay, moving on to the bylaws committee. I don't think there have been any updates or anybody submitting. I haven't received any bylaws proposals, and the process is bylaws proposal gets sent to the chair. The chair then starts the clock by sending it to the convention committee. The convention committee, there's a timeline of when it has to, prior to the convention, submit them to the SCC for the approval of the order in which they will be presented. If the SCC rejects that order, then it goes in the order in which they were received by the chair. But there's a lot of, the bylaws committee can work on those amendments, but I haven't received any. So also the SCC can propose bylaws amendments and submit them to the bylaws committee through the chair. Did you have, I saw you unmute yourself, Madam Secretary.
The only thing that I had is I know from last month's meeting, there was a discussion on submitting a bylaw change for the delegation. And so I guess at this point, is it by the individual, or do we want to discuss that as the board?
That we talked about in the previous meeting?
Yes.
Bylaws amendment?
Was that the discussion about having the chair as an automatic delegate?
Correct. or having members be automatic delegates. The leadership, especially being automatic delegation for national.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's something that any SCC member can put together that and bring it forward.
Right. And that's what I was just trying to confirm, whether it should be the individual or if that is a true board discussion. So it could be individual. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It would, I think it would need to originate with one of the board members, would need to bring it forward. Would probably be the best course. And then it would be
Okay.
discussed by the board. Now, the board can kick it to the bylaws committee as well.
Okay.
Mr. Lomax.
So, while you were talking about the board members submitting bylaws changes, but through you, does that mean that we have to send it to you to send to the bylaws committee, or can we directly engage the bylaws committee?
If you're good, so it has to go through the chair to go to the bylaws committee, but you as a board member can just notice that you want something added to the agenda for the SCC meeting and then provide the language in advance.
Okay.
And then it would be
Very good.
considered by the board, and then the board can decide to send it to the bylaws committee.
All right. I just want to make sure that it's not a situation where the chair can just shut down a bylaws amendment.
No,
Even if it's not you, like
I will say that I have
you know.
had conversations with a member from your county who sends rinky-dink bylaws amendments all the time. And I talk him out of them. But if he said, no, 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 I want to submit it, then it goes to the chair can't be a gatekeeper and say, pick and choose what bylaws. But like, there've been a couple of times where I've been like, you really don't want to do that, man.
Right.
Or that's not legal, or, whatever. But no, if your member said, no, 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 I really want this pushed forward, then it would go directly
Okay.
to the bylaws committee.
All right, cool. Thank you.
And closer to convention, like, I don't care if it's a rinky-dink crazy idea. If somebody sends a bylaws proposal, I'm just going to send it to the committee. They can talk them out of it. Moving on to branding. I'm going to lead this discussion on the branding simply because I don't think the branding team was put on notice that somebody needed to talk about it, but I would like in the future either Mr. Lomax or Ms. Schillings to be the one to lead the discussion on branding. The branding team met, and I believe we're meeting once a month. Is that correct? On Thursdays. And we identified the current assets that we have. We don't want to reprint them right now, but we do want to be prepared to reprint them with the new logo when they run out. So having those files ready to go. We also talked about policy cards. Oh, excellent. Micheline sent out the summary. Nice. So you'll see it all in there. It was good discussion. We highlighted specific areas of policy that we think would be most effective of cards. If there's something that you would like to see, please email one of the board members asking them to do it, or to consider it, bring it forward, what have you. We assigned Mr. Lomax as doing research on finding pricing for various print amounts. So like typically whenever I do a thing where I submit a request to have something printed, I have like the bare minimum, what I'd like to get, and how like another multiple of that, maybe because it ends up driving the price down really low if I get double what we need, type of thing. So he's currently doing that. A lot of the things that we were talking about was, like I said, rack cards, yard signs for polling places and just the party in general, and other banners for parades, things like that. Also, Ms. Schillings is working on making the new logo for the county parties, so that it says Libertarian Party of Morgan County or Allen County or what have you. Mr. Lomax.
Yeah, so in doing some of that research, I did send that email to the branding committee members with a preliminary quote from one company. That was the only company that I could find that would do everything that we had talked about in the branding meeting at one company. I didn't know if the chair or if the board members wanted to provide any guidance on whether we should look at single vendors to just get the most convenient, or if we should look at multiple vendors to get the best pricing. Like which one's the better option?
Both. We should compare both. If we can get everything all in one house for convenience, let's consider that. But also, especially if there's only one company, we should consider multiple vendors for individual projects, what their timeline is, what their quality is, all of those different things, so that we're providing the most bang for our buck. Would probably be best. Also, thinking about it, not all of these things are going to be printed at the same time. It's not like we're going to send one print package to have everything done at one time. So I don't think we necessarily need to have one vendor for everything.
I think it would be easier if it was a bigger vendor and it was one place that we could give them our stuff one time and then they've got it until we change it again.
The other thing
That was
is
what I
like
was thinking.
I've been working with printing partners in Indianapolis for over a decade, almost 2 decades. And while they will do everything, some of it, and you find this out afterwards, is outsourced. They're not doing it in-house. And so you're paying a little bit, they get a discount because they're a vendor for the vendor, but like there have been situations where it would have been cheaper if I'd gone to the other vendor. Granted, I wouldn't have known how to get a hold of that particular vendor or what have you, but yeah, so do bear that in mind that if somebody is an all-in-one, highly likely they're not actually all-in-one. They're probably outsourcing some of that. Ms. Schillings.
Yeah, it's been my experience in a professional print environment that many vendors will specialize in certain subjects and have equipment for certain items that they're able to produce really quickly, fast turnaround, very inexpensively. So you do need to source, I would try to say locally first before you go to a national vendor, just to try to support our local economy. But bulk vendors will be like, I can print 10,000 of this item. Absolutely. So go to that vendor for that. But they're not going to be able to do, let's say a print vendor is not going to be able to do vinyl or pop-up tent branding as readily or cheaply as another vendor might be. So we'll have to pick and choose. And I think as a good fiduciary agent for the party, we should absolutely focus on what we can get for our money.
All right. Moving on to comms and social. The comms team is meets every other week, I think. No, I don't know. It's on the calendar. Uh, I thought it was every other Monday or something like that. What is it? Hold on. Let me look at my calendar.
I believe it's the third Monday of the month, so once a month.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. That was the third Monday. The branding meets on Thursdays. I think the first Monday, the first Monday of the month is the branding team. Um, so yeah, the comms team meets on Monday evenings. And it's mostly just to set this social media strategy for the month, excluding responses to things. So it's also talking about our op-eds and things like that, but not necessarily reactionary. Those things happen kind of on the fly. And yeah, so I talked a lot during the tech director's period about comms. Any other questions about comms? Okay, hearing none. Moving on to gaming. I did put 1 minute down just because I would like for the gaming committee to actually meet and for us to discuss getting our license in check, making sure everything's current, but also to identify the issues that we have with using our gaming license for our county affiliates that don't have a gaming license to do like raffles and things like that, figure out what our limitations are on that because the rules have changed in the last couple of years. And then create a clear plan and paperwork for doing that for counties. I think we did it once for Morgan County. We did it once for District 8. Or no, excuse me, District 9. And then the Vanderburgh County party. I think there was one other county party we did. And with the exception of, I don't know, did Morgan County use it for the raffle? Or was there another? No. You were looking at partnering with a local group. That's what it was. Um, But I'd like for us to resolve that because I've had multiple county affiliates ask if they can use our gaming license for a raffle. And honestly, they should be able to. We're just not in a position to be able to facilitate it, which is unfortunate because that could be a moneymaker for them and they're ready to do it. So I'd like for us to meet and do that. Moving on to the national convention. Like I said before, I already purchased personally the large suite, so we have a suite covered. I will be asking somebody to work the suite, give them a key so that they can come in and out. Because with my duties as secretary, I don't know how often I'll be in the suite to unlock or open the door or let people in. So would like for that to happen. What else? There were other things with the national convention. Any questions about the national convention, Miss Avery?
Do you know when they're going to have packages available?
No. And I'm on the convention committee. Ex officio. Again, I don't vote. I have to attend every one of the meetings, which is great. And it was supposed to be like a week ago, and then it wasn't. And it's kind of up in the air right now. The hotels are available, the suites are available, the table booths are available. I purchased 2 booths. I think Mr. Nolan purchased a booth as well for the convention, presumably so he can stand there and yell at people. Um, uh, Sponsorships are available, I think, on the website, but I don't believe and I don't know when the packages will be. I think they're still debating the ticket price as of right now. So that's the last meeting I attended. They were still trying to figure out the formula for figuring out what the ticket pricing should be. I think it will be more than what DC was. It'll definitely be more than what Reno was. I'm hoping that it's DC or less, but who knows? The in-person LNC meeting in December is going to be at one of the potential sites for the 2028 convention. So that's fun. Michelle's.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can you tell me what on their website where we can find this information? I'm not able to readily see that at lp.org. Is it on a separate website again this time for their convention?
It is LNC 2026. I think that's correct.
Thank you.
.com or .org. I can't remember, but yeah, it is a different website. I'll look that up and I'll email it out today to the board just in case so that everybody has the record of it. I just can't remember. LNC2026.com. Thank you, Ms. Avery.
Thank you, Christine.
This was the issue that I was struggling to remember. They are not going to print convention binders. They've decided that it is not a good use of staff time. And quite a few of us said that is stupid. It is a moneymaker because there are ads that are placed in it. This is ridiculous. And I think kind of jokingly, Mr. Ford, who's the convention chair, said, well, if Indiana wants to be responsible for printing a booklet they can do it. And I said, let me check with my board, but the revenue goes to the state party. If we sell the ad space, we keep it, and then we will ship the completed thing in boxes that are already done so that the staff at the convention check-ins can just hand them out. Does anybody object to us doing that? What I was thinking was we have, instead of binders, a booklet, kind of like a magazine. And then we figure out what the cost per is. It's about 1,000 to 1,500 copies that would need to be printed. We have a rough idea of the page count. It would not include the reports that are last minute from platform and bylaws. Those would need to be printed by those committees and then assembled, like placed at the check-in desk. But then we would sell the ad space. We would set the price. The only thing that we would have to do is include the convention sponsors commiserate to their sponsorship and how it's displayed on the national website and at the convention. But other than that, we would set the pricing for the ad space. Ms. Dosbach.
Prior to being agreeable to taking this on, can we get some pricing for, what the cost would be, and the time that it would take in order to have them completed?
So print and ship, you're looking at probably, let's say 14 days from the time that you submit the file to the time that they're shipped to the venue, which we would either have them shipped to Michigan or shipped to one of us to drive up to Michigan, which is handy since a lot of us will be driving up to Michigan. The putting it together time is probably the longest thing, is laying the content out in the magazine and then making sure that you have the placeholders for the advertisements and stuff. I see Miss Schillings rubbing her eyes.
Sorry, I've got a bit of a headache. That's all.
The cost to print is probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 to under, it would be under $2 each, has been my experience with those types of things.
Last question is, approximately how many would we need to print?
1,000 to 1,500. Ms. Class.
Do you have an idea of how much ad revenue we would get from this?
From what I remember from previous national conventions, they sold about $10,000 to $15,000 worth of ad space in the binders.
I'll volunteer to help fold.
Well, we don't have to fold anything.
Okay.
Because we would be outsourcing the print and shipping it to either us here in Indiana or to the convention venue. But the big question is this something that we should even spend time considering doing, so that I can say to the Convention Oversight Committee that the OPIN is at least amenable to it, as long as we can lock down pricing and everything like that, and we decide we want to do it. Ms. Schillings.
I can foresee this being an incredible fundraiser for our party, especially if we're going to handle all the details. We would have to have firm deadlines for advertising submission and camera-ready artwork from clientele that we would not create those ads for them. They would have to submit them, and whatever they submit is what is printed within the boundary of what they've purchased. So if they send us a business card sized design that's going to go in a half page, we're not going to alter that. And as far as production, we would have to allocate time for that. And is there any stipend for creation if we need to outsource design?
I think that's something that we, based off of if we get ad sales, we make money. I think that's reasonable to do.
Okay, thank you.
Because it's our project. We can do whatever the hell we want with it. Because also the sales will not go to national. They would go on our website through our payment processor.
Right.
Mr. Vice Chair. You're muted.
My apology. I think this would be an awesome idea for fundraising. I think that the time commitment for it is the one aspect we have to look at. But I think that it would definitely be worth looking going forward with it and fundraising as Indiana.
Okay. Mr. Cotton and then Miss Glass and then Miss Coquillard.
I think this is a significantly good idea to get involved in. Other than some volunteer time on this and, maybe some drive time, moving stuff around, I I I don't see a downside to us getting involved in this and moving forward with it.
Thank you, Mr. Cotton. Miss Glass.
Are they gonna help us at all with like are they gonna maybe the question is will they hinder us advertising that we're doing this?
No.
Okay.
The one of the agreements would be is that when they put out information, like when they send out the emails and stuff like that, they would include, and if you want to buy an ad for the
Okay.
brochure, click here.
Oh, then I think it's a great opportunity, another great opportunity to show that Indiana is the best party. So go ahead.
That was the snide remark that was made was, well, Indiana's the best affiliate, so maybe they should handle it.
Yeah.
And I was
Mr.
like,
Chair,
you should. Yes.
I move that we add 2 minutes to the discussion for
Okay.
the national
Any
convention.
objection to adding 2 minutes? Okay, hearing none, 2 more minutes. Ms. Coquillard.
I agree. This sounds like a great fundraising idea. I think my question was about, obtaining the sponsorships that wouldn't fall on us. We would just be putting it together, correct?
The advertisements, we would be responsible, like they're going to market it as well, but we would also be responsible for managing ads and getting our own ads. The sponsorships to the actual convention, they would have to supply all of that information from
Yeah.
people, but we wouldn't get paid for that because they already, this is like
Yeah.
a secondary benefit to being a
I
sponsor.
got it. Yeah, I kind of conflated the sponsorships and campaign ads. So we would be the one obtaining the campaign ads and but yeah, my other concern was what Libby was stating, that as long as the LNC puts out that we're doing this and, helps in that way and doesn't hinder us, I would be all for it.
Yep. Hey, Ms. Schillings, then Mr. Lomax.
Thanks again, Mr. Chair. I'm going to recommend that we create a subcommittee for this process, that we don't continue in open dialogue here. I think as a group, we seem to be in agreement this could be a good idea. But for logistics, I think this is a deeper dive of who's going to handle this process, who will project manage it, and who will be responsible for producing the output.
So let's set this like a team.
Yes, thank you.
So put together an action team. Let's call it the Convention Booklet Squad. Do you have any suggestions on members of the team?
Well, I would probably like to be a member of this team. I'd like Liz. Anybody else who'd like to go, be interested? James would like to be interested, it seems.
I would also like to be on.
So I've got Ms. Schillings, Ms. Coquillard, Mr. Siniak, Mr. Lomax. I'll also put myself on there.
Is there anyone else who'd be interested in being part of this team?
Okay, and that is just the chair can just create a team. So
okay,
I dub it so that team is created. Let's meet Ms. Dosbach too. On there. Let's offline. I'll email everybody and let's see if we can figure out a date and time to meet next to talk, but sometime soon.
Thank you.
Preferably within the next 14 days. Let me hold on. I did not write those names down. So Schillings, Siniak, Coquillard, Lomax, Dosbach, McMahon. Is that it? Schilling, Siniak, Coquillard, Lomax, Dosbach, McMahon. I think that was it. Okay. All right, moving on under new business, chair project in SEP 17. So I sent out before the meeting a chair's project report outlining the 3 projects that I've been working on. So these were, and when you guys reading them, you're going to see I've talked about these projects multiple times, things that I was working on. I funded these through the chair's discretionary fund to get these going. My intent and goal is when they're completed, one, they can either be revenue generating by selling them to other states or to get donors interested in contributing. We had 2 of the largest donors in the party were very interested in the AI robo text banking project and wanted to see that when it was completed. Unfortunately, that has hit a roadblock, which is outlined in the report. Prior to connecting that to CiviCRM and adding SOS data to CiviCRM, which we need to do anyway, by the way, we need to do that and dedupe it. I think both me and Mr. Lundy attended a class on that, and I think we've both kind of forgotten how to do it. I know I can't remember how to do it at all. Andy is willing to do it, but we'd have to pay him to do it. He's willing to teach us again how to do it as part of our service agreement, but for him to be responsible for doing it each month, we'd have to pay him extra to do it. But so in that process, the Twilio account, which is the people who run the actual test messaging services, shut it down saying that people didn't opt in. And I'm like, but it's the voter registration list and we're a political party. They don't have to opt in. And it's kind of been held in this limbo of them refusing to release it. And I've not been able to find another vendor provider who can do it's called a A2P 10 DLC. And that's application to person, 10-digit local C contact or something. I can't remember what C stands for, but it's basically it's your phone number, your text messaging number, that is from an application to a person as opposed to person, if that makes sense. So that's on hold until that gets resolved, but it was tested, it was working, being able to target people. The idea of that project was I saw a video of a company that created an AI workflow where they were able to send text messages to their customers. And when their customers responded, it used what's called a sentiment trigger to kind of put them into a bucket of how to respond to them. And then it responds to them. And it keeps doing it as long as the person keeps responding. And you can set triggers like after the 4th response, tell them to have a nice day, as long as they're positive responses. Otherwise, they go to the do not contact list. So it was working, pretty well. It was able to figure out when I created a database, 2 different databases, one just a regular database and one was an AI database that can do reasoning. It could go through the voter information, limited voter information, and say, find all of the people in this district who are Republican leaning but did not vote in the last primary, and that's your target. And so now we're text messaging them. Did you know Representative Ed Clear voted against property tax reform and for increasing local income taxes in the state budget? So that was that project. And I'm doing the big fun project last. The other project, the second project, or the third project on the list was something that we've been trying to do for several years. I think it may even be more than 6 years, which is the legislative action card, like scorecard. I had talked to a company in February and I brought their pitch to the meeting in March, to the budget meeting, and we agreed to pursue that and move forward. The problem was they were really our use case did not fall within the scope of exactly what they were doing. They were more like the ACLU or a gun organization being informed that legislation was introduced in their area or on their topic, and then providing a summary of that to them, helping them write their response to it, and then scoring that legislation. So they had some of the mechanisms. They thought they could build it out to do the things that we wanted, which is to we supply all the legislation, we score the legislation, we write the response to the legislation, but it takes the score of the legislation and how a legislator actually acts on it and gives them a grade. So if we say we support this bill and then you vote against it, you get a negative score on either something being economic or social, were the two categories that every bill would fall into, social or economic. They said they could do it, and then they turned around and said, yeah, we can still do it, but we want 3 to 6 months of you paying a monthly fee with no service while we develop it out. And we want it to be $200 per month for the first year and then renegotiate after the first year. So I started the process of laying it out and building it out, doing it ourselves. One of the bigger questions that I have for it is, should this be a standalone application on its own website, or should it be a like WordPress plugin that exists within our website? I think it would be easier for other people to be able to manage and use it if it was a WordPress plugin versus a standalone web application. But either way is also manageable. I just think it would be easier as a WordPress plugin. They also didn't think that they could build this out to be usable by counties because that data isn't easily pulled. And what I have realized while kind of frameworking the architecture for it is that really it's just changing names of the positions, and you would have to repackage it, but it could be repackaged for a county affiliate. The automated stuff within it, which is pulling from the Indiana legislature has a API set, which I do have and got approved for. It is all of the, like, when a bill is introduced, what the actions on the bill are, who voted, how they voted, all of that stuff can be automatically imported into the application via API. That's not available in all states. So it could be repackaged to be sold to other states, just not with that automation attached to it. The other project, the third project, is a project management system, which has been talked about a lot. That whenever, like my example is the convention committee. Having a space where the convention committee can go and they have a space to work, but they can also see the previous steps from the last convention. The documents are loaded in there. It's already there, but they can actually, instead of just getting a document that says, hey, here's how to do this, you can actually see the templates of all of the projects within that workspace. Monday.com, which is like the leader in project management systems for organizations, starts to have more than one person. It starts at $12 a month on the monthly basis per user. I think it's $10 per month if you do the annual for it. And so it's just not scalable for us to be able to provide it universally just with our 16 board members. That's $160 a month at the $10 if we paid for a year. But then adding any counties, anything like that. So I started building out the application and reading through the phases where I'm at right now. For this project, I'm going to show it to you here in just a second. I wanted to give you guys a live view of it, but I can't, or like let you guys play with it. I can't until I actually publish it to like a domain that can be used. But where I'm at right now with it is the database has to do what's called a user authentication protocol. And so that's the thing that lets you log in. And, the first time you log in, you have to change your name. Anytime you do a password reset, any of those things, getting that connected correctly. Um, Cleaning up the database, because there's like some errors and stuff like that, cleaning up the program files, and then uh, adding additional security levels, like potentially requiring a 2FA so that everybody logs in. They have to also use a 2FA just for added security. But this is something that I believe, one, everybody in our state party, our candidates, our county parties, everybody can use it. It's ours, we own it, but I think we can also package it and sell it as a monthly service to other state affiliates. So I'm going to share my screen. I can't see what you guys are seeing. Are you seeing welcome to LPI in action? Yes. Okay. So once you log in, you will see all of the workspaces that you have been added to. You can't see any workspace that you haven't been added to. The system administrator can create any workspaces and then add people to them. So like me or Michael could create a new workspace, for example, Hamilton County. And then Lori, as the county chair, would be the admin for Hamilton County workspace. So these are all just examples. Each one can upload its own logo, but they are based off of type. And the types are party, candidate, and committee. So this is your dashboard where you see just, basic statistics of everything. Your projects end up on this field, and there are different categories for different projects, but you'll also notice there's a private project. The admin can add or remove people to a private project, and you can only see the private project if you've been added to it. And that's also true for the chat interface and the document section. But so the Kanban board, which I never know, am I saying that right? Lori, you would know Kanban, Kanban. So this,
It's pronounced both ways.
okay,
Kanban.
so this is actually, it does work. So if I take this, which is just, should we drink more water? If I move that from the assigned, I can move that into the review, and it's there, and it will change the status of that project. In your reports is just an overview of all of the activity, where everything lies on projects, tasks, the team. So you can see who's been actively completing projects and things like that. And then so in the document section, ooh, okay. Well, there's an error. Let me write that down. Auth users map is not defined. You can kind of see it when I hit refresh that there's documents in a wiki, in that there are places where you can create a document, you can upload a document. Then there's a wiki space to create wikis. They're also private. So if you want to create a wiki on how to access something that should only be viewable by the officers in the county party, you can make it only viewable by those members. Same with another document. So if there's a document like bank statements or whatever that you want to put within your workspace, you can do that. Then there's a chat. And in the chat, you have regular chat channels. You can attach documents and images to it. You can tag people. And then there's little emojis that you can use as well. You can also do reactions to things. And then there's also private channels. So again, you can have a channel set up and you can't even see that this exists unless you have been added to the channel. And then there's direct message capability so that you can have direct communications with anybody who's in the workspace. It's not system wide, but it's anybody who's in your workspace. You can have a private one-on-one conversation with them. But the channels exist, and you can have a private channel that, again, only those people can see. The system administrators can, like I said, create workspaces. You can shift up here in the top with any of the workspaces that you've been added to in any capacity, whether it's as an admin, a manager, or a user. Admins have total control over the workspace. Managers can add people, and they can add people to chats and things like that, but they can't remove people. Managers and admins can create projects, but only the admin can delete a project or a task. And then within a project, you have, who's in here. You can assign anybody that's in the workspace. You can assign anybody who's in the workspace. You can add tasks to people. And again, if it's private, only the people who have been added to that project can see it. Only a manager or an admin or the person that was assigned the task can complete a task. But only an admin can delete a task. So in this instance, like everybody who's in this workspace could see this money project because it is public within the workspace. But only the 2 team members who have been added to this one, the private, can see it because it's private. But even with this public one, if, Lori's an admin, Michael is the one that was assigned the project, but James is a member or user of the workspace, he can't complete the task. Only the person that was assigned the task or the admins or managers can complete it. So yeah, I think that one, where I'm at right now with it, I said the end of September, but I think like I should have it actually done and ready for live usage, like actually adding all of you guys and having workspaces created for you guys. All of the committees, having those people all populated. I think I'm within like 2 weeks of being done with that, barring any major obstacle. But right now it's mostly just I need to add the user invite authentication to it and the doing the cleanup of the database and some of the program files, and then actually publishing it. The one thing that I'm not sure about publishing it is keeping it on its own separate domain or using a subdomain for it, like a projects.lpin.org, or keeping it at something like lpinaction.com or .org, because I did get both of those, .org and .com. So one of the things that I need to be better at is giving you guys updates on these as they're happening and doing written reviews and then asking for more feedback into them as they're happening, so that you guys can see these projects and see what's happening, what's being built, where we're at. I would like to get some feedback on the legislative scorecard project, whether or not that should be a standalone application or a WordPress plugin. Just kind of your thoughts and feelings. The big thing about it being a separate application is there's 2 things. One, it creates like it's another login area of all the different logins. But it also, one of the things that I'd like for it to be able to do, which would be added functionality down the road, is adding a call to action feature like we had talked about before, and that we used to have before that program got bought by the Democrats. So that you can do let me email my legislator about this bill, right? But having it actually connect to Civi, I think would be harder to do, not impossible, but harder to do as a separate application like this. It might be easier to do it if it was a WordPress plugin. So yeah, that's the chair's project. Mr. Dixon,
Time.
you're good. You can, you're unmuted. Nope, can't hear you.
Sorry.
Oh, there
Hey,
you go.
I don't have it in front of me. Just a couple of quick questions. For the budget, what line did this fall under? A line item? Is this which line item is on this
No,
budget?
this was the chair's discretionary fund.
Oh, okay. And how much is left, do you think, on the outstanding cost on this? Like the scope of it? Like how much more do we have to pay for this to be done?
The getting things done project, the project management, there's no additional costs. That will cost about $20 a month moving forward, but I will commit to paying for the first year until we can get other state affiliates to want to buy it, which I don't want to talk about well, I mean, I just said it's only $20 a month for our cost publicly. So like I'm thinking like maybe $150 per month for other affiliates to be able to state affiliates to be able to use it. That's
cost to our party, or we don't have any more cost for any of this.
other than the monthly hosting, which is about $20 a month. And like I said, I'll commit to a year for that. The only other fee for anything else, for any of the other projects, would be on the text banking. And the only cost for that moving forward would be there's a 35, if we have to get a new A to P, if we have to get a new phone number, there's a fee for that, which I believe was $35 for that application process, which just verifies that it's connected to a political party, which is also why it's stupid that they shut that one off. Because it went through the verification process and said, yes, you are a political party. You can talk to voters without their consent. And then they said, you don't have consent. Maybe having to pay that fee again. And then the costs for the actual text messaging itself.
We owe September 17th any more money?
No. And so on the legislative scorecard, I don't see any additional costs again, other than if we go with a web-based application, then there might be a $20 a month hosting fee for that as well. But if it's a WordPress plugin, then there's no additional cost for that. Michelle.
Thank you. Do you have an estimated cost of what we spent on these projects to date?
It's about total. What the LPIN spent is about 10,000 total. What I've spent on it is about an additional 5,000.
On our current 2025 budget, we had chair's discretionary fund of about $5,000 and $1,000.
Previous session.
I'm just saying this year we had allocated $5,000 for your discretionary fund and $1,000 for the legislative tracker. So that's $6,000. Where are the other $4,000 coming from for this that you said estimated 10,000?
This started before this budget. This started in January. This budget started in March.
In 3 months, we had $4,000 additional dollars.
Roughly, yeah.
And that would be carried over from the 2024 budget then?
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Cotton.
Do we need to extend time on this or over time?
Any objection to extending time by 5 more minutes? No objection. Mr. Lundy.
Just to summarize and make sure I'm understanding correctly, most, if not all, the payments to September 17th are paying you to develop custom software?
Yes.
Okay. And we're a political party, not a software developer?
Yes, but we're creating programs for the political party. Any other questions? Okay, moving on. Merch store plus team. Like I said, the merch store is up and running. Our Shopify is connected. We have it's live. If you go to the web, go to lpin.org and you click on store, that goes to our Shopify store. It's kind of sparse. We don't have a lot of items. I think, Lori, remind me, we had some designs already for t-shirts.
It would have been produced whenever we started doing that for the other vendor. So I'm not sure what files you require now.
Anything that you have that we can add?
I'll see what I've produced for that and see if I still have those available. Yeah.
Those would all continue to be like the ones that are on there now, have the Lori Schillings design logo with them. For the merch store, I was hoping we could get a team of people who can get direct access to the store to be able to add items to the store. For t-shirts, mugs, whatever. The only thing is if there's digitizing of files, which is like for like embroidery and stuff, that has a fee associated with it. So not doing that unless it's like an approved item. Is there anybody who would like to be able to do that?
I would like to, but I kind of feel like I'm already on too many things. So I do think we should definitely, I'll definitely keep in mind that we need more merch and try to put some things together.
Anybody else?
I could, sorry.
Go ahead, Ms. Klotz.
I could help with that. I've designed some of my own shirts, so I could do that.
I expect my free time will be quite booked up through the next 15 months. If I'm able, I will produce what I can, at least relay what I already have produced for you. I cannot guarantee additional time for this, however.
I respect that. I was more thinking if there was something that I know sometimes you come up with stuff. If you did, being able to add it quickly. The other thing with the merch store is I did not add our current printed materials to it because we had talked about making that pickup only from district reps. But it's been a while since we talked about that. Is that still a thing that we want to do? So it'd be a slow process to get the items. Is that still something we want to do? They could also come by the office to pick them up too during regular hours. The Schillings.
Yeah, I think not doing
Hold
the
on,
shipping
Luke.
is definitely.
Luke, Miss Schillings.
If we have stock on hand to share, I think that's a good idea. Do we want to have like a minimal fee, like $1 to download a PDF or something if they want to print on their own?
Okay, so we want to be careful about doing anything that's under $9 because there's bot attacks on anything under $9. So we may just make that available for free. Like if you want a PDF to download, like we can do that.
That could be reached out without necessarily being on the store, just a back end link someplace. So especially for affiliates who are already part of our process, anybody else who wants to buy like quizzes, they can certainly buy ours with the LPIN branding, but that would be a fee.
And local pickup only for those printed materials. But also we can give a discount coupon to the county affiliates that can be applied to the store. Other than like basically cost plus the processing fees, maybe a little bit more, but they're not paying full retail for more world's smallest political quizzes. Does that sound good or not good? What do you think, Lori?
I think it's fine. Yeah.
Any other questions about the merch store? And Mr. Dixon, I'll need to walk you through how that ends up getting reported, how it shows up in Civi, so that you can see that. Okay. All right, moving on to ICE hearings. The IEC hearings. We had, do you guys remember a while ago, right after the convention, when I said me and Abby weren't talking to each other anymore, that she was mad at me, and I was mad at her? Okay, so the thing that caused that is now coming to a head, and a bunch of our candidates received notice that they have a hearing in September before the election commission. And essentially what happened was when I went to file the paperwork for all the candidates, like we always do, one person processed the paperwork and put it on Abby's desk. It then got covered with a stack of things and got moved around, and then all of our candidates were deemed not filed on time, which was not true. I had them file stamped. And the reason why we weren't talking was because when I found out about it, I immediately called her and she was out that day. So I called the Republican co-counsel and told them, and they got livid with Abby over it and like threatened her job and everything. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm not upset that they got mad, but I'm upset they threatened your job. Like, that's not cool. So that's the issue. The election commission has already been informed by both sides of the division, letting them know that this is not accurate and that these need to be dismissed. And Abby will be there to admit the error, that it was on her desk, that it wasn't our fault. We did file on time. I'm going to be at the hearing just in case. I'm taking the file stamp documents with me. Yes, Ms. Glass, that includes you and Mark, Mark, Mr. Cotton, Mr. Dixon. I think Mr. Lomax was another one. It was the only person who wasn't an SCC member was Mark Reinholdsberger, whatever his name is.
Renholzberger.
Yes, him.
I did not receive a letter.
You should have.
I did not. So
I would
when
double
is
check.
this?
You
I'll
don't have to
double
worry
check.
about it. You don't need to go.
I would like to go.
Okay.
When is it?
Tim, when is it?
It was Tuesday, September, or yeah, see here. Tuesday, September 23rd, I wanted to say it was.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Okay.
You
Is that
on this, Luke, but the one other person that had an issue was Virgil's up in Kosciuszko. His issue was he had an open committee going into the convention and was running for office. Because of that, he needed to file a pre-convention report. Unfortunately, the report requirement doesn't populate until after our convention. So he went in, did a pre-convention report, like kind of on his own, or it popped up. It just popped up late, and put in the date that he was reporting for, which was the wrong reporting period. So they're saying it was a late report. Technically within the rules, like it's on you to know what the reporting period is and when to report. And if a report isn't populated, for you to do it yourself. So it kind of falls on him, but it's an unfair system. I think Abby is going to speak to it because we've had it happen before, the same exact problem. And it's because it doesn't ours isn't hard coded for our convention. It was snail mail, hard coded to our convention, like it is for the Republicans and Democrats. And so, and it's a different reporting thing. So, um, it's just basically the system treats us unfairly. And it's going to be a problem for anybody who has an open committee and also seeks the nomination at convention. Like it's going to be an issue. Mr. Cotton.
No.
Uh, quick question. I know in the letter itself, it said, if you don't appear in person or have a written representative there that, potentially they will file default against you on that. So is there any danger on this?
Nope, because there was an email specifically from the election commission, from the election division to the election commission talking about this. And then I will also be there as well. And I will be checking the state party. So, any other questions about I keep wanting to say ICE hearing, the election commission hearing? Okay. Hearing none. City development, couple of things. Andy and we asked about this last year, but we didn't commit to paying for it with him. The abilities, so like right now, if you want to have a registered event, whether it's ticket priced or free, but you want to have an event that's people have to sign up to register for, me or Michael have to set it up for you in Civi. And it's kind of complicated. All you can do on WordPress is post your event information to make it so where a person actually has to register for it and or buy a ticket. We have to do that for you. Andy worked with another developer to create a mechanism so that it's actually in WordPress. You can create the registered event and make it ticketable. So somebody could pay for a ticket. You can do it. It doesn't require like me or Michael may have to go in to like maybe clean something up or like change the thank you email for you. But other than that, you're able to do it on your own just in WordPress. It was Andy said it was $5,000 and he's asking for his clients to split the cost, which would make it $1,000 for us. He said he would take payments on it, and he would install it as soon as we made the first payment if we want it. But this is an outside scope development that we didn't necessarily hire him to do. But he did it and is making it available if we would like to have it. If we do want to do that, which I think we should. I think it would be nice for the county parties and you guys as district reps to be able to add those registered events right on WordPress very easily. If we do that, there's another feature that I had talked to him about previously that I would like to have added, and Andy said that it would be about $600. And that additional feature is for any onboarded candidate or county party who has a Civi CRM instance with us, connected to us, that their events get uploaded to the state calendar automatically, but that we can turn some of them off. So like, if a candidate for Secretary of State has 15 events, but they're not all events that necessarily like they're attending, a parade or something like that, that maybe doesn't need to be on the state party's calendar, we can uncheck it so then it doesn't appear on the state party's calendar. Other things like that. If, maybe the county party doesn't want something added to the calendar because it's a private meeting or something, whatever. Those things can be then unticked to not appear on the state party calendar, but otherwise it would happen automatically. If we do want to do that, I'm willing to pay for it because I think it's an added benefit. if we're doing the first part with the calendar creation, I would pay for the $600 for the second part, which I think he said would take about a month for him to develop. So opening up that for conversation and discussion. So it's a two-parter. There's the adding the easier calendar registration, and then the second part would be adding the onboarding calendar push, I guess. Any discussion? Would there be anybody want to move to approve the first development?
I'd make a motion.
What? Sorry, I have a question. Didn't raise my hand.
Pollard was first. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'd make a motion to approve the oh gosh, I can't think right now. I'm sorry. The first part.
The $1,000
The $1,000, yes.
with done in payments.
Done in payments, yes.
Is there a second? Then we can have discussion after.
Second.
Seconded by Miss Avery. Okay, Mr. Lomax, you had a question?
Yes, I'm just curious as to what fund this is going to come out of and what additional expenses we will see from this type of program going forward after the initial cost. Like, is it just a one-time development thing? There's no servicing to it after the fact?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
And
part of our CRM.
okay.
It's an add-on feature that Andy would be adding.
Okay.
Which then would fall under the scope of our regular development agreement or regular maintenance agreement with him for maintaining stuff. Anybody else? Any other questions? Okay, move to a vote. Madam Secretary, do you want to take a roll call?
Yes. One moment. Should I start bottom to top this time?
Sure.
Okay. Seeing as D9 is not present. Mr. Haynes is not present. Miss Glass?
Oh, hold on. Yeah. Oh, you could hear me. I abstain.
Mr. Lomax?
Yay.
Miss Schillings?
I'm going to abstain.
Mr. Lundy?
Abstain.
Ms. Avery?
Yes.
Mr. Cotton?
Abstain.
Mr. Schick is absent. Secretary? Nay.
Do you want to do the directors?
I'm sorry?
The directors?
Oh. What time? My apologies. Ms. Coquillard?
Yay.
Mr. Schulteis?
Yay.
Mr. Smith is absent. Secretary Dosbach, nay. Mr. Dixon?
Same.
I didn't hear what you said.
Mr. Dixon abstained, I believe. Is that
Correct.
correct?
Correct.
Vice Chair Seniak
Abstain.
and Chair McMahon.
I'll vote no.
Okay. That does not pass at this time, it looks like, because we only have 1, 2, 3, 4 yays. 1, 2, 4. 6 abstains, 2 nays, and 1, 2, 3.
And 4 yeses. It's not a majority of the board present.
No, correct.
So it fails. Okay. Next item is the phone system. This has been a budgeted item for a long time that we haven't actually done anything with. Working with Alyssa's husband to set up a phone system that does the ring through to, you know, the dial by number, dial by department. And it becomes available for county parties as well. I don't think it should be used by candidates because candidates are such a short-term period, but it was an add-on of $10 per month for the phone number for any county party, but it would be their own, like, while it falls under us, it doesn't, it's their own system, their own login, their own app, their own phone number, their own user IDs, everything. We just haven't done it. We've budgeted for it. We just never did it. The big concern was we got a message that our phone line was not working, that it was coming back as disconnected or something like that. And then it came back like an hour or two later. And then Mr. Schulteis discovered that the company was having issues. And then immediately after that, like that same day or the next day, they announced that they were going out of business and that it was like effective that week. And then they stopped because they had to extend the period. But Mr. Schulteis found another company that does the exact same thing, which is to forward the number basically to voicemail. It's a VOP thing. And that's basically what happens right now. If you call the party line, it goes to voicemail. And then, you know, we listen to it and forward it to whoever it goes to. The question is, it is in the budget. Do we still want to do that with the phone system, or do we want to do something else? This is just kind of a discussion. Ms. Schillings.
How many people utilize this service besides the actual party? Just one person? Like your number, the party number? Is it like every county party uses this right now? Do we have an estimate of usage of this service?
Well, nobody's using it right now.
And so we're
You're talking about
budgeting for that?
Right. And haven't used it.
And
because we haven't spent it either. I think we just increased the budget item a while ago, because there's a fee for the system we were using. We budgeted for moving to Alyssa's husband's system and just never did.
right. And I'm looking at our budget now. I'm trying to find that particular line item. Is it under office supplies or
I think it's under
software?
technology.
Technology, hold please. Do you have that number offhand for the budget? What we
I
were
think it was
paying for?
$100
Monthly or just annual?
monthly.
Is this not a service we could already do with a regular phone line like AT&T?
It'd be more.
I mean, we're already spending the money for the line. And if it's just like your particular phone or the party phone, I don't see
No,
why
it's not, there's no phone. There's no physical phone. It's a phone number that goes to voicemail.
just an answering service like a Google number.
If somebody calls and I have to call them back, I have to call them back from my private line.
Right.
If I literally send you the email that the voicemail comes into, you have to call them on your personal line.
Right. And are we not able to accomplish the same with a Google Voice number that's attached to our Google account now that could be specifically for the party?
That I don't know. I'm going to defer to Mr. Schulteis. He knows more about our current phone system than I do. Mr. Schulteis.
This is a professional voice over IP system. I don't know why we're considering Alyssa's husband's system other than it might be more robust, but we have the ability to expand beyond the voicemail that we're currently using. We could set up physical phone lines that utilize our system. We can have different extensions and a lot of different features. We just haven't utilized that in the past, but right now the new system we sign up for is you pay by usage. It's a negligible sub-cent cost per minute for actual calls, since we're not actually using it to dial out or do anything other than voicemail. It's negligible costs, but we could expand our usage with what we already have without.
And just to
hold on, any objection to extending time by like 5 minutes? No objection. Okay.
Just a clarifying question to follow up is what's the name of this proposed service that we want to move to instead of this other one that's never provided service to us ever that we've already budgeted money to? Michael, what was the new one that you had looked at? The name of it?
We're currently using is VoIP.ms. That's replacing VoIPO.com, which went out of business or is currently winding down business operations. I know Alyssa's husband runs his own IT company. I'm not sure what technology he's using for his phone offering.
I think it's irrelevant what he's using since he's never been able to provide service and we never instituted that. I'm just, for record keeping, I want to know who we're trying to get as a contractor for this. Thank you.
Ms. Coquillard.
Sorry. Okay, I'm just trying to, I really keep track. It's $100 a month for this new service.
And
this is just for the state card.
The one that we have right now that Michael switched us to because the other company went out of business is we pay per minute.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't know that they could provide other things. So like what I would ask is for Michael as the tech director to investigate that service and what all they offer, and if that would be the benefit for us, if that's where we should go. Or should we just stay in the position we're in right now, which is when people call, it goes to voicemail and the voicemail gets email.
That was my other part of the question was how quick are we to answer those voicemails? Is the process same day? And have we run into any instances where we wouldn't want to use our own personal number?
Yeah. If you hear the phone calls that come in from people, they're insane.
But do you return
now they have my phone number.
But do you return those insane phone calls is what I'm saying. Okay.
Because there's no other way for me to communicate with them because it's all I see is their phone number. There's no email address or anything like that. So if somebody calls and says something that does need a response, I'm doing it through my personal.
Do we have the capability of blocking our numbers when we call? If these insane calls back. I'm just trying to find ways around that are cheaper. I honestly, only insane people still use, phone services like that. I like the idea of an answering service. Like we would just return voicemails. I kind of like that. And then we could also cover our own numbers as unavailable or whatever when we return if we have to.
I'm not sure. Michael will have to look into this, but each of us as users may have access to our own Google number as well. So that could be a thing where we set up a Google number where it's just the number that we use um, for calling people to respond to them.
Yeah.
Mr. Lundy.
Just for historical context, because I think I was on the board when we discussed this originally, and it was several years ago, if I remember
Yeah.
right. It very much is very much like a Google number. At the time, instead of each county having a Google number, we were looking at it as a way to provide a service for the counties, so that it's a like Morgan County would always have the same number, and now that Eric's chair, he would just have ownership of it. That was the concept. I agree with Evan and Michael, though, that we should explore what options we have now, because I think that was also when we had left Google and went to that other place that sucked really bad. So I think we might have more options now in like the 4 years since we brought this up or whatever it was, that we could explore that we already either have access to or might even be more affordable or free. So I would suggest we have Michael explore, both our phone company that we have now and whether or not our Google suite, which is cover Google numbers for us. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
My recommendation was going to be if we did want to pursue with Alyssa's husband, that we schedule a time for, because we're not in any hurry. But if we were going to do that, that we schedule a time for him to come and do a pitch and a demonstration and for us to be able to verify. But I didn't know that our current VOP provider can do a lot of that. So I'd rather have Michael look into that and see if that's an option right there where we're already at. That would make 1,000 times more percent, and possibly, like you said, just using Google numbers if we all have. I don't know if we all get them. I don't know.
Time.
Mr. Lomax has been waiting patiently. Does anybody object to just a couple more minutes? Okay, go ahead, Mr. Lomax. Freeze?
So I know
Hello?
for a fact that, can you guys hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think you muted me. Oh, you can hear me?
Hello?
I guess you can't hear me. Oh, you can. Okay. Very good.
Yes.
So I know for a fact that there are services out there that will let you forward to a personal number that doesn't actually give your personal number to the people that are calling. So if Google Voice is available, or if we've already got it on our service, that's going to be the best way, because if you can give management of the individual counties Google Voice numbers to the individual counties, then we can set our own forwarding number or our own extensions within Google Voice. I know that's absolutely possible, and it's probably a lot more cost effective than $100 a month. And I would think that if the counties want to do that, then that should be on the county responsibility. That should not be the state party's responsibility. So if the state wants to do that, then that should be included in our service that we already have.
Sorry, I apparently lost internet there for a little bit. Like completely lost it. Can you sum up what you said, Mr. Lomax?
Yes, I would think that there is already a feature for the state party's Google account that is included in our Google services that we have. And then if the county parties want to add on to that, then they would have the option to do that and set their own forwarding numbers and their own extensions through that portal. We would just have to find a way to make it so that they could access that portal either on the district or on the county level. But it should be really easy to set up. And I don't think $100 a month seems like a reasonable price for something like that, because Google Voice, it should be included in what we're already paying them. Now you are muted, Evan.
Thank you. I was like, why aren't you answering? Mr. Vice Chair, you're muted.
I move that we do some more research and then table this for the next meeting.
There's no motion before the before the body on it. It was just a discussion, so it's perfectly fine for Mr. Schulteis to do some investigation and report back with a recommendation. James. Any other questions or comments on this topic? Okay, hearing none. Moving on to policy manual team. This is something that I've been struggling to do and just not finding the time. And I was wondering if there are people who would like help or would like to help creating a policy manual for the LPIN, which is going to come up in the very next item. Is there anybody that would volunteer? Ms. Dosbach? Is that you?
No, actually, I have a question.
Okay.
What exactly are you looking for from the volunteers to contribute to the policy manual team?
Just to review, like, help fill in gaps, create language, kind of taking a lot of what National has done and adapting it to fit Indiana's needs, and what we have, as far as a policy manual for things like how do we give a candidate access to things prior to the nomination? You know, is there a regular system for doing that? You know, we've talked about an HR policy a lot, but we've never actually done anything with an HR policy. There's things like I'm going to ask about the 2026 candidate application. The bylaws require us to approve for the SCC to approve an application. I don't think we've done it since like 2017 or 2018. So it's been the same application. And I don't think people knew that that was a thing we were supposed to do. That should be in the policy manual under candidates, like candidate nominations. What's the process for nominating candidates outside of convention, from the board? It just says that we can. Yeah, job descriptions, exactly. All of that stuff should be in the policy manual. We just don't have one. So Mr. Lundy said he would volunteer. Is there anybody else that would like to help?
Yes, I will volunteer on that.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So it'll be a team with me, Danny, and me, Mr. Lundy, and the Secretary Dosbach. Yes. Moving on to the 2026 candidate application. This is something that we need to do pretty quickly. I think if I will send out the link again, to where the current one is, and have everybody look at it and let's come back with feedback. I think at one point we talked about adding a specific clause that said if you're nominated, you won't endorse a candidate from another party. That would be a thing that we would add. But this is the time for us to decide what things we want to add to the candidate application. You know, any questions, policy, anything at all. This is where we would decide what to do. I'd like to have that presented to the rest of the board by our next board meeting for us to put it up there, because we're having people talking about running right now. I've had 7 or 8 different people who have asked. And while we don't have to have it really until I think like January, it would be nice if we send a person to the run for office page that it has the current application. It has all of the current accurate information for running, which Miss Schillings, I think it was last year, you did a good job of like reorganizing that page so that it had all the details and looked better. I think that was pretty sure that was you. Yeah, I think that's the link that Danny just posted. I can't really see it. Yes. Yeah, 2010 was the last time we approved it. So yeah, there's that. This isn't a team. This doesn't have to be a team. This is just, I'm gonna send it out, or it's out now. If you could take a look at it, make some suggestions, let's email back and forth and maybe have a working document by the time we come to our next business meeting. Ms. Schillings.
Are you asking that we review the Google form for accuracy and additions?
Sure. Or
That's
removal.
the actual candidate application for nomination, that particular Google form where the candidate goes in and be like, I would like to be a person that's considered for this role.
Yes.
Thank you. So we need to assess that form and make edits as needed and bring those recommendations to the next SCC.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Class.
So I put my question in the chat, but I wasn't sure if you answered it. Are you requiring them not to endorse any other candidate or just ones that have a LP member?
I'm not requiring anything.
Okay.
But the way it was presented was our candidates should not nominate or not nominate and publicly endorse a candidate from another party, period. And that was born out of two of our candidates endorsing somebody else.
And I realized that, but that was, I believe, when we had an LP candidate running for that position.
Yep. But that was, that was the discussion that was had was, putting that in the candidate application. So that can be up for discussion about how that is worded if somebody decides they want to put it forward as something that should be added to the candidate application. Okay. Anything else on that topic? And let me. Yeah, I mean, that is true. We can add other people to a lot of these teams. It doesn't have to be SCC members. I think the gaming committee and the bylaws committee have non-SCC members on them. So we can have more people. That is a thing. I wouldn't make a post about it, maybe an email to our members, but not a post. Ms. Coquelard.
Yeah, like even outsourcing creativity to our membership with the merch team that you were talking about, putting it out to our internal membership. Hey, you got a libertarian thought you'd think deserves to be on a t-shirt. That way it just spreads it out a bit, and I think people would respond to that like, yeah, I've got an idea, and out of a handful of them we can find a couple good ones that end up on our website, and that gets kind of a sense of pride type thing too.
It's a good idea.
Time.
Anything else? Okay. Any announcements? Anybody got any events or anything coming up that they didn't already mention?
Would it be appropriate to give an update on a candidate at this time?
This would be the appropriate time.
May I do that?
You may.
Great. The Lori Schillings for Secretary of State campaign has been going pretty well. We've gotten a couple of op-eds out. Got a lot of response on the no bending the knee to DC. A lot of people seem to like that message. I did see a poll come out that 75% of registered voters in Indiana think there is federal overreach in our elections right now. So that may be a very good message going forward. We've got our team together. We had our first team meeting, and things are going trucking along real well. We've got some fundraising going on. So again, though, put the word out. Anybody who wants to volunteer for our campaign, we're building that list now as well. So send them our way. That's it. Any questions?
Yes. Is there anything that the state party can do to help that we would also be able and automatically willing to do for anybody else should they also seek the nomination?
I will let you know right now. I appreciate the comms team helping us with press releases.
I will say that I really wanted to put out a thing about the redistricting and didn't because I didn't want to step on your press release.
Sadly, nobody picked that one up.
Maybe we do it again from the state party and we add in quotes from our potential SOS candidate. Maybe.
Wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Ms. Schillings?
I just muted myself by accident on the other way. I I do want to ask a question about logistics. If the campaign had a email message that we'd like to send out to the body, can we forward that to you at your discretion? Are you able to say from our potential candidate?
As long as you,
For example, if we were to send out a volunteer request to
Yes.
the members, would that be okay?
yes,
Okay. We
But
didn't
just
want
at
to overstep, right?
the very beginning, because I did that for both all the candidates in 2024, sent out emails for them. It's just the top of it will have a little in italics. It will say, this message is being sent by the Libertarian Party on behalf of this candidate seeking nomination for this at the convention, and which would be March 21st.
Oh, with a disclaimer. Gotcha.
Yeah. We just put the disclaimer on it. The only thing is we can't. I would not feel comfortable if something specifically asked for their vote at convention.
This
That's
would
the
be-
only thing that I would strike out from it.
This would be a broad ask of attendance or informational purposes, or perhaps, I don't know if I want to go into fundraising, but events or notices, things like that.
The other thing, I don't think this will be a problem for you, but it needs to be stated for the record.
Right.
My policy is I do not edit. So
Yep.
if something is misspelled or grammatically incorrect, one, you don't want me being the one checking for that. And two, if it is, I'm not going to fix it.
Thank you.
It goes the way it was sent, other than the disclaimer. Anything else? How would somebody, if they were so inclined to want to donate to Michelin's campaign for SOS, how would they do that?
LoriForLiberty.com. That's Lori, FOR, Liberty.com.
Excellent.
You should also be able to send us an email if you'd like to volunteer there.
Okay. Any other announcements? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay. So I don't know if anybody else saw that, but it looked like it was Elizabeth, but it was definitely Tim's voice. It was very creepy. Okay, so it's been moved in second. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
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 Bye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. We are adjourned.
That was a